Lucas Stalkup Genetics, Justin Mosier, Blue Mountain Livestock, and S&D Genetics, the Scott Dean family as well. A couple breeders that couldn't make it, Custis Livestock, Custis Show Pigs. The weather in Saratoga, Wyoming is not overly accommodating, and Jason Simpson as well has provided the shavings and is still part of the sale. We're going to get started here today with the preview of the 2023 Northern Showcase. And first up, we're going to have Justin here with Blue Mountain Livestock.
The first ones that we'll drop out here are going to be white crossbreds. They're an 18 litter. These would be White Lightnings, Walks Alone, King of the Hill. Mom was a sow, or gilt, that I judged in Iowa last year that Stolly and I bought together. Really, really good half Yorkshire female that had impeccable build and some cool pieces. Bred her to White Lightning. Really good set of pigs, honestly. Good built, hairy-legged. I think there's some that are pretty good looking. I think they're more market-oriented, honestly, with kind of how their muscle shape's coming into them and how stout they're kind of going to be. A little bit bigger set in these three, but a good litter that came out, good mom. Like I said, impeccable build in that sow, and I think it matched pretty well right.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 white crossbreds here, just dead level from the side, so attractive in their basic build. And I come at this from the feed company side of things, and I think those are the kind of livestock that have the foundation in terms of basic build and attractive pieces. You take those things home and just body them down. They're going to be on the bigger side, absolutely, in the end, but so attractive and ones that have that ultimate show gilt look, as we have the gilt that runs across the center of the ring, and like he just said, has muscle shape to go with it, the kind you go home and just absolutely feed. Lucas, we are looking for more pigs.
The next pin that we're dropping out, the gilt in this one is a 7 litter. She's a 7-7. That's going to be a Never Fear. That one's mama's a partnership sow that I own with a kid that's up near me. Just got out of college. Really, really like this sow. She was very fundamental, very, very good. Um, this gilt was probably the standout, probably the most bloomy, ready to go one. Like her quite a bit. And then the Saved by Grace pig didn't take the ride as good as I anticipated, but it's kind of understandable with a 13-hour trip and a little bit of temperature change for things. So that one's gonna be a Saved by Grace. Fed a lot of Saved by Grace pigs last year. Did a lot of winning with them up in Montana, or excuse me, in Minnesota, Wyoming. Very, very good pig. Built right. Sow's kind of the same way. Built right. Saved by Grace should add that muscle and that bone. Good pig in those two.
Yeah, absolutely. In that gilt, you could just see when he gets her stopped there, just wild looking from the side. Love that about her. Absolutely square hipped and as good built as you can make him at the ground. Another one I think you just take home and feed, and absolutely is going to get better with time. The other pig, in terms of just absolute back shape, he is impressive from up here. Definitely one that reads with tons of expression and dimension, and again, that wild look up front that's so trendy and absolutely a must and a requirement in the show ring today to get that attention. Both those hogs are so good headed in terms of having stoutness of skull, yet read with that overly attractive look from the side. I think another very nice pair of pigs from Blue Mountain Livestock.
Next pin that we're dropping in is a 10 liter. These would be my intentions, no comparison. Partnership sow again with Jess Hawk up there in northern Illinois. Really, really good sow that comes from Stolquist. Like that sow quite a bit. Bred to my intentions, trying to make them a little bit stouter. I think the 10-8 kind of represents what Daddy looks like. Stout mug, big chested, lots of muscle. That one's bloomy. That one's going to be ready early. The 10-8, she is going to be lot 27. Then the male pig, which is 10-2, he's lot 26. He is cut. Probably the greenest one in the litter, but that one's build and structure is really, really right. Kind of matches mommy a little bit on that side, and he's going to be stout, obviously, just looking at litter mates. And then the white-footed gilt, she's going to be lot 18. Like that one a lot. That one likes to show off quite a bit. Run around with gets her head up. That one's going to be athletic. Good litter of pigs. Like them a good bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we start off with that lot 18 Justin just talked about, and she does have that look, and they got to know they're good, and I think this one does that. She's so cocky in the way she has that head carriage, just striking and attractive from the side, and then has those extras in terms of muscle shape. I think absolutely one of the heavier muscled pigs in terms of real back shape we saw back there in the back, especially in relation to size and age. The other gilt here is 27 that's against the fence, the belted gilt there, and she's another one that in terms of real raw meat animal shape down her back, she absolutely has that, and I think from a market hog standpoint would be very, very good for those shows where you have the versatility to show them both ways, and just chocked full of absolute power and dimension, and really like that about her. The barrow here, again, that's lot 26, like Justin hit. That's one that's greener and absolutely reads with future. I think he has some versatility in terms of age, and when you can show this one in terms of endpoint, you could really push him if you wanted to, or just really slow grow that one and let him get big boned and cool looking from the side. He's going to be one that just absolutely comes with more power. So again, in here we have lot 18, lot 26, and lot 27 from Blue Mountain Livestock.
So this next group that we're bringing out, these are going to be 1 litter pigs. So the gilt that's got a spot top, she's going to be lot 3. And then, or excuse me, that's the male pig. The male pig with the black head, that's lot 3. The spot top gilt is lot 10. Last year, we brought a gilt to Northern Showcase that I was very, very fond of. And she did a lot of winning for us. She went to the Nemechek family in Kansas, won a bunch of shows, won her county fair, won a class at state fair. I think was second in class at Kansas City. Very, very good gilt, one that we are very, very proud of. And I think these things mimic them quite a bit. So these would be next contestants, 5-knuckle shuffle. The sow originates from a bred purchase from Miles Tonez. Very, very high on this litter. They're middle of January's. I don't know if that scares anybody, but these things are elite built and probably my favorite in the set that we brought. Girl pig is big-legged, hairy, cute-headed. That one has a wide feeding range, and it's going to be very successful and stand out wherever you take her. Male pig's probably one that's just really, really good built. He's going to be stout if you study his chest and his hip shape, and that one's cage is just put into him so good. That one represents mommy in terms of her head and his assembly up front. Very, very fond of this pair.
Yeah, absolutely. And Justin had this pair of pigs out in the back, and this gilt here is one that you can just absolutely envision with a picture at a backdrop in the end. And her build from the side is just absolutely impeccable. And to read with as much width underneath as she has for a green baby pig, and then yet still be so flawless in terms of her skeleton. She's absolutely big-legged and just wild looking from the side, one that just has a great deal of future ahead of her. And he said on size, absolute versatility here, and I think she is one that you can give the gas to because her skeleton is built so good, or absolutely sit on that one to a Kansas City and just have one that's just wild in terms of bone work with an absolutely cool look and a cool marking that just makes her stand out. He hit on the hair side of things, and this pair of hogs absolutely stands out in that regard start as well. They're really dense and good haired as well, and ultimately that is an important piece of the puzzle at this point. And the barrow, that one in terms of real rib cage, the way he comes into his forerib, he reads with that feeding look, and then he still has that same stout skull that's really attractive, and I think one that's absolutely just going to get better with time. A very impressive pair of pigs here from Blue Mountain. Thank you, Justin, for working through that set. He brought you a great set of pigs. Again, that's Blue Mountain's lot 3 is the barrow pig in here, and then lot 10 is the gilt. A very, very nice pair of next contestants.
All right, guys. Coming in next, be lot 16. Or which one? Be 17, 18, and 19. Very, very thankful Shane and crew brought a set out. I'll turn it over to Hayden to talk a little pedigree and then break down on these things a little bit.
So our first pen is one of our 2 gilts that we brought, and then a couple barras. The gilt we brought is a Sunrise King size. That's tag number 19. She's the bigger, stouter one going across there. Our Sunrise is an all-rise Secret Society boar we kept last spring. The mom of that boar has raised 2 division champs reserves at San Antonio in the last 2 or 3 years. We use that boar pretty heavily, and we plan on using them more for this summer. And then the 2 barras in there, the tag 18, which is the stout broken belt that Gabe's on now. He is a Sunrise Curtain Call. And tag 17, the other barra, is a Push King of the Hill. Push is a next intention, never before boar that we kept. It'd be his 3rd or 4th season that we're still using him. He is a full sib to broken record at Laird's, which is the $350,000 boar pig that we sold last fall. So pedigree that we really, really like. I mean, we've used Push time and time again, and we like the pigs, and we're going to continue to use them. And some really good sows behind these 3. So 2 bears and a gilt that we're really excited about. And I'll give it back to Lucas.
To me, I like this set quite a bit. The one that stands out in my eyes the most be that tag 18, lot 14 barra. To me, that deal is boxy, stout, extra good in terms of hip and hind leg flex. Still has a really, really good look. Those Sunrises, I got a set of them at home. Those things look like they feed great. Awesome looking barrel. Like that one quite a bit. To me, the big gilt, I talked to Hayden when she came in last night. That one's a little bit different on some of Shane's stuff in my mind as far as frame and a little bit just extra extension. That one still has extra big legs, massive pin set, lots of topside shape. To me, that one looks a little bit kind of halfway a generator status as far as just extras. Real neat kind of gilt. And then the little barrel that, I don't know if I'd say that one's just green as far as muscle shape, but I think that one's probably more green in terms of just body fill and set. One that I still think, great through his skull and his jaw and how that one's head's been made. Awesome in terms of his length of hip and stride. To me, that one looks like he'll feed just in terms of, maybe sit on that guy a little bit, let body shape fill in. Like those 3 quite a bit.
So our next three in are tags 20, 21, and 22. The tags 20 and 22, the litter 101s, both Barras, and they are out of a littermate sister to Broken Record's mom. So she'd be a never before best man. She also had the the Grand Division 4 at the Iowa FFA State Fair last year, and we think the 101s really have a chance of feeding well and being big time in the end. Tag 20's a Crypt Orchid. Make note of that. And tag 21 is a boar pig. And then tag 21, the 99-4, is a Broken Record curtain call. And we've used Broken Record pretty heavily. The pigs have been really, really cool looking. Awesome built. Big boned. We're really excited about his sire group we've had this spring and look forward to seeing more of them.
Yet again, to me, a real nice set of barrows. I like the 22, tag 22 would be the Sunrise Never Before barrow. That one to me reads very much so like a Brenning hog as far as stoutness and bone and just extra feature. That one's huge pin, great to the edge in terms of back shape. One that looks like the feeding kind. I like that barrel a lot. This kind of wider belted one to me. One that maybe kind of we talked about that last one being just maybe a shot greener in terms of body fill. That one looks like he's got all the skeletal indicators as far as just mass and power. That one's got some extra look ahead of his blade, a little bit maybe bigger scaled. One that to me looks like he can reach a heavyweight and still have the right kind of look from the side. And then that Broken Record barrow, just to me, one that has all the pieces as far as look and balance and the right kind of look up front. That barrel proportions very good. Those Broken Records, I've talked to Shane a bit on that. Broken Record versus push. It seems like those Broken Records have just a nickel more scale to them, a nickel more look, and maybe, might take a nickel more time as far as feed. That one looks like the kind that'll feed down the road into a very competitive one as far as his hip, hind leg set, and blade down. I think that barrow's very forward as far as skeletal correctness. Nice set of barrows.
So our next two in are Littermate Brothers, the 117s, tag 13 and tag 15. They are Dare to Compare on a Not Another sow. We use Dare to Compare. Sampled them, probably bred 10 sows to them, and they are awesome looking and awesome built. When we bred them to sows like this Not Another sow that is stout and hairy and burly and big caged, it really worked. He brought the look and the design, and she brought the hair and bone and feature. And I think these both have a really good chance of being big time in the end. The Not Another sows had good pigs, time in and time out, and I think this was a really good mating. And looking forward to seeing how these two feed.
Real nice pair of barrows, and I think there's a little bit of differences on them. Wide belted barrow to me, one that's got a nickel more scale, maybe a nickel more length and extension. One that's great bodied, huge pin, has a neat look from the side. Barrow closest to us, you want to talk about perfect pigment, concentric belted, real square, great in terms of stoutness and power. That one looks like a Brenning hog. And by the way, for those of you wondering how big that operation back there is, there's not very many operations that say they sample one and breed 10 sows to them. I like those deals quite a bit. This narrow belt, or this kind of concentric belted one closest to me, that barrel looks big time. I like that one quite a bit.
So our next two in are tags 11 and 12, 68-3 and 83-6. 83-6 is a boar pig, and he's our lead of the sale. He's one of our favorites that we've had brought to sales this weekend. We brought 20 to a sale in Iowa and 20 to this sale, and I think me and Shane kind of argued about who got to take him where, because I think we both wanted to have him in the set that we were taking care of and looking after, because we like him quite a bit, and he is wicked looking and has an awesome hip and hind leg, big boned, and we think he has a really good chance of feeding really well for somebody. And then the other bear in there, tag number 12, is a Sunrise Never Before. Like I mentioned earlier, Sunrise is the all-rise son that we kept last spring, and this one's a little later maturing, but I mean his look from his blade forge really good. He's got a stout noggin on him and a really good hip and hind leg, just like a lot of the all-rises and Sunrises we've had. I think that bear gets better every day of his life and just needs fed hard. I really think this bear's good, and I really like tag 11.
Yeah, to reiterate on that, tag 11 that we're leading this deal off with, Shane told me the other day he was sending me a hammer. I appreciate him for doing so. That thing is very good. Square, boxy, great looking, huge, stout legs, dense and hairy. If you want to compete at a high level, I dang sure take a swing on that one. Don't miss on the wide belted barrow because he's in a pen with a bear. That one's neat looking, great in terms of proportion and balance. Love how that one goes and just how that one's hip and hind leg works. Great kind of feeding body shape. One that, I don't think that one, and some of these Sunrises, I've got some back at home too. They look like they might have to be 270. I wouldn't be scared to push that one. His throat and jaw has the look of a barrow that can be very competitive at a heavier weight. A very nice pair of barrows, especially that lead off.
So the next two in are tag number 23 and 24, 95-3 and 106-5. 106-5 is the belted gilt. That is tag 24. She's a Susfu Crazy 8. Susfu would be a boar that we bought from Blunt at perfect timing a year and a half ago. He's a snafu, no moss son that we've used extensively and are still using again for this summer. I mean, those things are really work on a lot of Shane sows. I mean, he's a little later maturing, really good looking, and really good built. We breed him to our really stout and burly sows, and it has worked time and time again. We think that gilt has a really good chance of being competitive at a breeding gilt show later on in her life, and has a chance to be a big-time generator. And to add to that, the mother of both of these are mate sisters to the 4th overall Hampshire barrow at Oklahoma Youth Expo. It'd be coming up on 3 years ago. Crazy 8, Lock It Up sow, littermate sisters that we really believe in and have made a lot of sale pigs for us and a lot of pigs that have fed really well for people. And then the tag 23 would be out of a Crazy 8 sow, but out of the push instead of Susfu. So these two aren't littermates, but they're out of littermate sisters and different boars. That barra is wicked looking and has a really good build to him. He's going to get better the longer he's here. I mean, he probably took the trip as rough as anything. I mean, there's a reason that he's higher up in the sale order than what he probably looks right now, but he's already getting a lot better, and he'll be looking a lot better every hour that he's here now that he's eating and drinking and feeling better every minute. So a bear that we really think has a chance to be really competitive, and a gilt that I think has a chance to be a really big-time generator for somebody.
A really, really neat set. To me, that gilt, and we've kind of messed around on bought a sus food from Shane earlier this fall or this spring. Those things are wicked looking, huge, huge legged. We've been feeding on one for a little bit. Skeleton is immaculate. I would say that, with Colorado having an open gilt show, that one has a chance down there, especially, that one's look and balance and bulk. That one's very, very intriguing. The little barrow, to me, Hayden can say that, don't want to make excuses or for anything. I'll make an excuse for him. They were pretty worried about that one when he came off the trailer. To me, that is a wicked-looking, sharp-fronted, chisel-backed little one that has a great look from the side and a huge pin set. That one looks like he will be very, very neat down the road. A really, really nice pair. And, go back in on those sows. I bet you those ones. And when Shane goes out and uses a sow that's a little bit different pedigree, it usually works pretty well, and those sows end up generating quite a bit of money. Really, really nice pair of hogs.
The next three, despite the order we've been previewing them in, all three of these are in our top 10 or so of our sale order of our 20. And there's this tag 27 is one that I really, really like. That's what a lot of our really good push barrows look like. Those are the ones that feed. I mean, that thing's got a stout skull, a big forearm, the running gear to be pushed and fed on and be ready to go. I believe he sells second. He's second in our sale order, and I'm really excited about his future. And then the tag 28 and tag 30. Tag 28 would be the calico bear that Gabe's on now. They're both Come and See's Anchorman. Come and See's the snafu son that Brockman raised that Laird bought. Really good looking, really big bone, stout featured boar, and really, really worked on our Anchorman sows. We bred 2 Anchorman sows to Come and See, and that the other litter that we've already sold is really, really, we've been hearing good reports from those families, and Come and See's a boar that we plan on using again, because, what he's brought to the table in regards to feature and stoutness of skull and keeping them built right has been second. So really excited about these three.
Neat set of barrows. To me, that 27 push lock it up barrow has the look of one that'll feed to be a very, very neat one, and especially early on. That one's got enough bloom and body shape and back and hip to be competitive, and a neat enough look up front. That one will make a very, very neat kind of barrow. To me, the one that that wild color calico barrow, that is a wicked looking creature as far as blade forward and chin and jaw, as far as being chiseled out. That one's hard backed and has a really, really square pin set. That one's kind of interesting looking, and you might be able to sneak in and argue gray on that one in some places, and with new CJSA rules, that means that deal would go light cross. If not, you still have a dark cross that can play pretty hard. That mate brother, don't skip on that one. Great bodied, big pinned, stout rascal. A nice trio of barrows there.
The next three in are tags 25, 26, and 29. They're all littermate brothers. They are Sunrise Decisives, and they're some of the smaller ones we brought, but I don't think any lower quality by any means. As far as feeding for August or feeding for Colorado State Fair, I think these three are, as good as the ones we brought. They're moderate hogs that are big boned and good built and can last till then. There's no doubt in my mind. This is the same size that Shane brought to Super 7 for our state fair, so I'm confident that window for these things, and like I said before, our sunrises have been really, really good. He stamped them with a neat head and neck, and they're good built, and he's added bone. We're really excited about these three. It's a second litter sow that we're excited about her generating potential, but she's just getting started, and I think this might just have been her first statement.
A real neat trio of barrows. To me, I like that 29, lot 29 or tag 29 barrow, that kind of spot backed one. Great looking, has a neat kind of feeding look, feet some body. To me, body shapes right in that one. That one needs just a nickel more bloom. Like that barrow a tremendous amount just as far as look and down the road. Barrow closest to me, definitely one that's got enough back and pin width and mass and power. A real, to me, looks like an easy feeding kind of hog. And the barrow, the tag 25 barrows, maybe more so in between those two as far as bloom. Great looking, awesome bodied, square made one. Really neat trio of barrows that I think if you're kind of shooting on playing at that mid-August kind of deal, whether it's Wyoming or Colorado County Fairs, those deals all have a chance there as far as feeding into that time frame. Nice trio of barrows.
And the last two of our group that we're previewing are tags 14 and tag 16. Tag 16 is a boar pig, and he's the white one on the far side of the camera now. These are Dare to Compare, a blow sow. This blow sow we've retained a lot of daughters from. They're really, they are very, very consistent in what they make. We fed a lot of pigs, 2 or 3 sisters that we do have, and they've, fed really, really well. And this Dare to Compare was a perfect mating for her. We're really excited about that close to solid white one. And the blue one, I think, in a light cross division should be very, very competitive. So really good pair. I want to thank Lucas Stallcup for having us out here and having everything set up and good to go for the weekend. Thank you to Lucas, and we hope to see you this evening.
Nice way to round out the breeding set. The other day I was talking to Shane, and I kind of halfway made a joke because I don't think Shane's capable of raising dark cross barrows that aren't belted. And he told me he was going to send a hammer blue one and a really, really nice white one. I think he might have been underselling the white one a little bit in that statement. I think those two have a chance, in those divisions. Great bodied, stout, powerful, awesome looking, look like great feeding kind of hogs. And, with that blow sow behind him, I bet you those things will feed great. Just like to thank those guys, and Shane, I think that set's very, very elite from top to bottom. Thank those guys for making the trip out. We'll work in here on my stuff here in a second, so I just get to hang out up here with Krisha for a little bit. Hey, Gabe, you want to show my pigs? Perfect. Yep, these are 3 litters. Lot 8 should be a little barrel. Yep, and then 3-6. These would both be 3 litters would be lot 8, and then lot 8 and 17. These would be Encore Decisive Secret Societies. I would have bought Mama from Shane a couple years ago. Has done a tremendously good job for us. Really stout, burly kind of sow. Encore's done a lot of good for us as far as just regulating bone and squareness of joints, adding in nickel look, and maybe just some extra shape up high. I'll turn it over to Krisha to talk these. I think quite a bit of, especially the little chrome barrel.
Yeah, absolutely. A really nice pair of hogs that Lucas brings you. And Lucas is obviously the one running this sale and then brings you great hogs to go with it. And you won't find anybody that's more passionate about show pigs than Lucas. And I would say studies pedigrees to the nth degree. And so his opinion on his hogs is going to be absolutely the most valuable. But I think this is a very, very nice pair of hogs. Really different in terms of their kind. And I think how they're going to end up in their endpoint. Both of them have absolutely good feeding heads. And so one's with some skull width and give you that look of power from their back. But in this case, what makes them unique then is to give that look to go with it. The gilt's one that I think has some versatility, and absolutely in Wyoming and Colorado where you can show those gilts amongst the barrows at market hog shows, I think she'll fit well there. But she's also one that I think you could take into a breeding gilt show just because of her build from the side. She's so feminine and attractive, but yet still has real meat animal shape to go with it. I think a very nice gilt that's going to feed. The barrow here is one that's just, or boar pig here. Yeah, he needs cut yet. Boar pig if you're going to take that one home or make him a boar. Monster in terms of that rib cage. He has that feeding body shape to go with his head. I think one that could be pretty versatile in terms of size and where that ideal endpoint is depending on how you want to manage this one. But he is very, very good in terms of his look from the side. That is a stout boned and featured one that's wide underneath and carries with that power up high. Just love the rib cage, the head in this one. Very nice pair from Stalk Up Genetics. That is, again, lot 8. And lot 17 is the gilt. So 8 is the barrow, the chromed up hog, and then lot 17 is the gilt.
Next out would be a start of their six littermate brothers. Back there would be 2 litters. Those would be Redemption on Rust or on 2020 from Schwecky. Double maternal grandmother is a littermate sister to Rusty Cage. For those of you not familiar with Redemption, that'd be a next intention, excuse me, back on that sow. That set has been very, very good. Mom is killer looking and fat leg that worked really, really good. That litter's been extremely consistent and been very well received at home. I'll turn it over to Chris on these. Half belted, lot 2 in the sale will be a boar pig. Kind of decide what you want to do with him.
Lot 2 is one leading up to the sale I've seen a lot of videos of from Lucas, and one that's been a standout and really impressive from day one. And it all starts with that hard back shape, and he does have that. You read him back to his pen width. He's very, very good there. He hit on him being pretty monster-legged, and he absolutely is that. I think he's one that still reads with enough muscle shape. We can sit on him for a while, or if you want to cut that one and go hard for early, he absolutely fits the bill there too. So pretty versatile, and like you said, you can retain the seeds in that one and do what you will with him, or go ahead and cut him. But I think one that just reads with a great deal of future, and he has that wild look from the side that just is going to separate him in the show ring. Monster boned and legged, absolutely stout featured, a very, very nice individual there. The other barrow in here is lot 9, and he's one too that is just wild in terms of that look up front. If you want to talk extension ahead of their blade, he just screams that. And I think one that's going to feed probably to a heavier weight. He just reads a little later maturing, and so one that's going to reach that 290, and he could do it pretty early for you if you got some of those earlier fares. And I think that's where he's going to best fit, is just absolutely wide open in terms of feeding. And you get that look from the side, and he absolutely is just a freak in terms of extension up front. So again, that very good boar pig, number 2, kind of a standout lot for Lucas from day one. And then number 9 is going to be the other barrow pig in here.
Next up would be 2-1 and 2-7 would be lots 32 and 38. Similar deal on those littermate brothers. There's 6 of them back there. Like I said, consistency on those has been very, very good. Black Hog's been, I'll make a nickel of excuse. That one hauled a little bit rougher than I'd have liked, but one that I think we're starting to get him a little bit back on track as the day gets a little bit later on. I'll turn it over to Chris on him.
And so as we start off here, this Black Hog is 2-1, and these are going to be mates again. And I think one that he, like he said, he does read like maybe he handled that trip a little hard. What is it, a 7-hour drive, Lucas? So it's not just down the road. It takes him some time to recover from that. But again, in terms of foundation, the front feet and bone on that thing are just impeccable. And then he has the hair to go with it. I think when you take home and get that sucker tan, he just gives you that look of quality from the side in terms of overall extension and absolute length of body with the extras in terms of bone and groundwork. And again, he's one that hits you with that head that looks like they will feed the kind of livestock you take home that will do nothing but get better. The belted hog in here is lot 31. Another one that maybe reads with as much power as anything in that litter as you get back to their upper hip. He's one, too. I would think if you take him home and feed him just in terms of his growth indicators, looks like one that could hit that 290 range and do it fairly early if you wanted to. With that added length of body, you body that one down and just absolutely wide open feed him. That added extension is certainly going to separate you in the end. Love the pen width on that guy, and one that just reads with good back shape. I think these two hogs are going to do nothing but get better as we take them home and just give them that feed.
Last two of that pair, or that set of 6 barrows, 2-9 would be the belted one closest to me. That would be lot 16, and 2-6 would be the kind of chromed up one. That'd be lot 33. Like I said, consistent litter, and there's a set of gilts back home. We're pretty excited getting production as well. I'll turn it over to Krisha, though.
So again, 2 more mates, and we've seen a lot of versatility within that litter. And you look up the chromed up hog there, lot 33, and I would say that one has as much groundwork base width as any of them. And you get directly behind him, he's got probably as much as anything to the seat of his pants as well. And so in terms of one that's maybe going to be the most moderate of the litter, I think he has some versatility in terms of age to hold and mature with bone work because of that. So I think you could push that one into the future a little bit further than a couple of the other litter mates because of it. Love that one's genuine rib cage to go with it. Like I said, opens up with that width through his chest floor, gives you that same look in terms of back shape dimension as well. The other hog in here is another one that's just tall fronted and really exotic in his look up front, but what makes this litter unique is he has that extension in terms of being built that way up front, but still has that head that indicates that they're going to go home, get wider, stouter, and more powerful. And I think this one's going to absolutely do that and love his groundwork in terms of bone and dimension, the same as kind of read through that whole litter. They're all good in that regard. Another one, we go home and just absolutely wide open feed him, push him to a bigger weight, going to be pretty tough to get around.
Last of my set, the kind of broken-eared, flat-eared gilt is a remainder of the 3 litters that we opened up my set with. 3-3, I'll tell you that one would be staying home if I hadn't had to pull her for about an hour to get her out of her mom. That one's always been big pretty much everywhere. The 4 litter gilt, one that, like I said, we've been working a little bit on feed. I didn't actually plan on bringing that gilt down until a few days ago. She bloomed up. That would be a next contestant back on an old ODM sow that I bought from Chris Schenker a few years ago. That would be her 11th litter of pigs. We've generated quite a bit of money out of there. Numerous division winners at Montana and Wyoming, a couple county fair winners. One that's a little bit different in my set, a little bit older school. One that I still think has plenty of quality. Turned over to Chris on these 2.
And again, coming at this from the feed side of things, I think these gilts are probably more alike than they are different in the terms of the way I would manage them as you take them home. And in terms of topside power, both very, very good. They read with that raw back shape that absolutely we got to start with today. And then I think we managed some protein things to just body these things down, and they'll be hard to beat in the end because of just the amount of sheer product they have with all of that added extension. The lighter colored gilt, he said one that maybe wasn't chalked for the sale originally. Is that 25? 20. Lot 25 is her number. And one you take home and get a tan on. And we'll talk some of those management things later, but you can see that we'll absolutely make a difference on this one as we get her home, get her under a tanning light, darken her up because she's so good at her pin width, just absolutely dead level at her hip. And she comes with that explosive back shape. Just feed into her a little bit more rib and body, and I think that extension will separate her in the end. The other gilt here, the lot 24, the kind of level-eared, darker colored one, like he said, one that maybe he would have kept at home if we wouldn't have had to pull her out, but you can see why. She's one that's got some forearm and power there, and then leaves you with the same advantages in terms of that overall muscle shape. Very, very flexible as far as her skeleton is concerned. Hogs that haven't been managed individually in terms of a feed program, guys. And so the nice thing about this set is they're going to go home and absolutely do nothing but get better for you as we manage that individually, maybe drop some protein down on these guys, body them up a shot, but so good looking and good and basic in terms of their fundamental skeleton. Next hogs we have coming in from SD Genetics.
Hi guys, and I'd just like to thank Lucas Stall Cup for having us out here, and we bring a set of gilts in here for you. We got lot 4, 13-3, 8-12, lot 20, and 20-9, lot 42, and starting off with our leadoff gilt. That's easy for you no show, and that easy for you is a boar we purchased from Dakota Strebber out of Oklahoma. He's a tricked out end game, and we bred him to a lot of sows, half the sows on the farm, and we just been pleased with him. He's been so consistent and just brought a lot of quality and a lot of good, brought a lot of quality, and we've had tons of good show pigs out of him. Starting off with that 13-3, she's an easy for you no show. No show sow, no show sow has a littermate sister at home that raised a Nebraska State Fair champion or reserve champion gilt. 13-3. I'll let Chris talk about that one.
Yeah, the 13-3 gilt there is one that is absolutely wild looking up front. I mean, when you get off to the side of her, and I noticed back in the pen right away, she has an absolutely yak front and just so unique in that regard. One that I think of the three here especially reads with as much foundation width as anything to go with it, and I think that's what makes her unique. She silhouettes from the side so well in terms of one that runs uphill and is trendy in that regard. She's good in her rib cage. I think this is one that you absolutely take home and powers up, and just that wild look she has absolutely separates her in the end.
Moving on down to lot 20, 8-12 gilt. Easy for you, dirty 239. Mommy's raised a lot of good ones for us. She's real consistent. Those pigs have been real consistent. Kind of your moderate, bigger caged, heavier muscle gilt out of these three. I'll let Chris talk about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots and lots of muscle shape here, and I think her length of body and just basic build lends to more future for this one. I think you can push her and get there early in August, but I think probably as we look at Colorado State Fair, I think she's one with the basic build that's going to go on and make a gilt competitive amongst the barrows because of the muscle shape she reads with. Just absolutely dead level from the side, and her extension up front in relation to her length of body, I think gives her a great deal of versatility in terms of future and where that one's endpoint is. I would speculate you could even ride that one into Kansas City in terms of a gilt show, and then once she matures with those extras, could be very, very impressive.
And round out this pen of gilts, lot 42, 20-9. Easy for you, dirty 239 again. This one took the trailer ride a little harder than we wanted her to. Just a little skinny today, but still one that's got plenty of quality. Got a good pedigree to back her up. I'll let Krisha talk that one.
Absolutely a good pedigree, and Dakota is no stranger to winning down there in Oklahoma, and the board that these hogs are out of, easy for you. I think the quality reads through all the way in this group, and one that's still very good in terms of her foundation, flexibility. He said she took the trailer ride a little bit hard. Absolutely, they get that first trailer ride out of the way, so when you guys go home, they're going to handle the next one better, and I think that foundation with feed is going to be impressive in the end because she's so dead level from the side as the other three are, and so that look of quality, go home, feed it, and power it up. I think she's one that's unique in terms of her markings. She'll stand out in the end because of that. Again, that was lot 42, lot 20, and lot 4 from S&D Show Pigs.
Got a pen of barrows here, and real high quality barrows. Like these three a bunch, and talking that lot 12 barrow, all rise, goosebumps. He's half sibs to barrow that we recently were reserve champion at the Arizona National with. Yeah, the spotted backed up 10-7. Like that barrel quite a bit. He took the trailer ride hard down here, and he's going to get a little sick on us. We will guarantee that one if anything were to happen. So I'll let Krisha talk that one.
Yeah, that recent success of S&D Genetics at Phoenix, and this one goes back in pedigree and relation, and I would speculate they're fairly similar in terms of build, and that one went for a long time, and I think you can do the same with this one. He said they'll guarantee him in terms of health, and so maybe not on his A game today, but absolutely, that is a jack-fronted, tall-fronted dude that's big-boned and stout-featured. And like so many of them we've talked, you absolutely have to start with that in terms of foundation. Now, take it home, blow it apart, and I think the game becomes absolutely different, but one that's so good in terms of that unique look from the side. And again, a pedigree to back it up, and that absolutely matters. And as these breeders bring you their sets, that's why they talk it, because there's a lot of speculation, but when you know how those things feed, and with the recent success of the champion, or that barrow at Phoenix on the backside of that pedigree.
Moving on to lot 28, 8-7, easy for you, Dirty 239. Littermate gilts, that other 8 litter that we just brought in. One litter that we liked a bunch, and they're so consistent in the way they're made, and in terms of muscle pattern and build. Like that barrel a lot. He's big caged, big muscle, but still moves on a good skeleton, and I'll let Chris talk on that one.
I think this one, in terms of rib cage and just feedability, hits you hard, and I think that's his advantage, is just overall length of body, one that's really appropriate in that regard, with the added extension he has and flexibility and just topside power as well. I like this one's head. I think he reads with that look of quality and feedability, yet so unique in the way that he assembles it from the side.
And to round out this barrow pen, we got a full throttle, never before barrow, lot 34. Like these pigs a lot. Had a few litters of them this year. One that's just big caged and good skeleton, and sharp ahead of his blade, but still from behind has a big hind leg that flexes well. Good in his pigment color. These full throttles have been really good in their pigment color, real dark. I'll let Chris finish off.
Yeah, and absolutely, as this group comes in, that's the first thing I notice on him, is he is just that absolute jet black. And so you take this one home, you still have to manage skin and hair, but maybe not the battle on some in terms of getting it tan, and that absolutely makes a difference. But then you get down into his basic build, and I think this one is as flexible and as skeleton as anything we've seen. Just absolutely picks him up and puts him down and goes. So you start with one that's so sound in terms of their structure. I think that's part of the pieces in terms of taking him home, pushing hard and putting the power on the top side of that skeleton, and then just absolutely has the rib cage of feedability to go with it. Again, a very nice set from SD Genetics. Thank you, guys. And because we had a couple consigners that couldn't make it and be here with us today, I guess that wraps up the set for today. We're going to go ahead and go into a feed clinic at noon from Showtech. I will be giving myself, and then work into the sale tonight at 7 p.m. So again, please, dinner at 5. If you guys aren't here and watching online, please come and join us for dinner. We got a really good barbecue that's going to happen here. That meal is sponsored on behalf of Showtech. And so please be here for dinner at 5, and then the sale will start at 7 o'clock sharp. We'll sell this 46 head of pigs. Again, thanks to Lucas Stahlcup for providing this opportunity, moving the sale down from Wyoming last year. There was a pretty big handful of pigs that won in that particular set that was offered last year. Judging by what we've seen today, I think absolutely expect some great results as well. Again, thank you guys for joining us for the live preview. Thank you to Landry for go ahead and videoing this. Done a great job of providing you a good experience, hopefully viewing online as well.